So this frame is the draw runners. That is a spacer. And it fits in there like that, nice and snug. And that's your centre kicker, which sits on top of that. I'll put glue blocks front and back, which will support that, and that will actually hold the bottom one as well, so I don't need to connect the bottom one. And these are the side ones. Put plenty of glue blocks on this top one and the bottom ones at the side, some underneath. but not on this bottom one. So this is a floating one. It's connected with this rod here. I've replaced one of the screws with a dowel. I'm just going to replace the other one now that glue's dried. I've machined up the two door fronts on the four sides and they fit in quite nicely, so they're ready now for the front dovetailing to be done. So these top sides are all the outside faces and they all plane in the same direction from front to back. So I'll stack them up. And then I'll be able to mark the dovetails across all of them and cut them all in one go. When I cut dovetails, I always try to make them slightly narrower at the back than at the front. That one's a bit too exaggerated, more than I'd like. That one's about right. It means when you put them together, you get a much tighter join on the outside face. So when I'm cutting them, I try to cut on the waist side of the pencil line and cut through it on the back. It doesn't matter whether you cut them in sets of 4, 2 or just individually. Just make them a fraction out so they're slightly narrower at the back, and it gives you a much tighter join. I saw it just about a mil in from the line, and then I tend to drill out most of the waste before I start chopping out. You just have to make sure you don't drill through the front. On the original one that I was looking at, they weren't dovetailed. Now either it had been repaired and someone had just chopped the dovetails out and nailed it on, but I think it's how they were made, because I don't think the market was high end, because like I say, a lot of it was made from pine. It was just the front, it's just the show stuff that was any quality. They did put a bit of inlay in them and things, but they actually cut a lot of corners, so this would have just been butt joints. Well, it had been chopped out as a rebate and the sides nailed in. That's all the dovetailing done on the front anyway. They're all reasonably tight. Except that one, there's a little bit of a gap there. So the next thing to do is cut the groove on the base at the front and make the slips for the sides, and then cut the backs down to width, and then they can be dovetailed in and make the base. So I've set the fence so it just misses that first pin on the dovetailing. I've marked out the dovetails for the backs of the drawers. Because I tilt the saw slightly to make them narrower at the back, I can only do them in pairs. So I'm doing the two right hand ones first, and I'll do the left ones afterwards. The first cut's straight and it has to go perfectly square, but the rest will be slightly tapered towards the back. So these are the slips. It's a traditional way of doing a drawer because the sides are too thin to put the groove in there. So on one end I've got a little tenon the same thickness as the groove, and the other one is just a piece cut out to the top of the groove, and these are just glued in.